In addition to the partners that came with the larger toys, Armada Minicons were also sold in 3-packs. Their alternate modes thematically fit their team name, and each team itself has a central gimmick. Some of them can combine, one of them being the Air Defense team. And since Hasbro pretty much thrive on repaints, we later got the Air Assault team, quote-unquote evil-themed recolors of the Air Defense set. Jetstorm, Runway, and Sonar. Same characters, new paint jobs. This is one of those packs where the trio sport a unified color scheme, one which I'm honestly in two minds about. The off-white, purple, gold, and black combo looks fine on its own, nothing really clashes, and the dark purple and black certainly fit the evil part, especially Sonar, where the darker colors predominate the toy. Less so with Jetstorm and Runway, where the off-white takes precedence. In fact, how their colors are applied does cause a problem for a future mode, but on the individual bots, it works. Also, while the defense team were cast in translucent plastic, the off-white used for the assault team is opaque, so they're more durable. Well, in theory, given the fragility of clear plastic. As for the alt modes themselves, Jetstorm is a Concorde, Runway is a Sonic Cruiser, and Sonar is a Venture Star Shuttle. Amongst the various molded details, all three have tiny cockpit windows. Jetstorm and Runway also sport passenger windows, and Sonar is covered in panel lines. While not retools of each other, Jetstorm and Runway are somewhat comparable due to how they transform. The actual vehicular portions capture the design traits of the respective jets, like the front and tail sections. Both feature deployable nose landing gear, and of course they have quite a bit of undercarriage junk, though it folds up differently on each figure. Jetstorm handles his a bit better since it's more streamlined and actually pegs together, whereas Runway's relies more on joint friction. Sonar's limbs are either hidden or make up more of the vehicle in comparison to his teammates, though he's not entirely clean himself, given the giant tubular structure intended for a future mode. The rest of him is pretty accurate to the aforementioned concept shuttle, with its cone-like shape and wings at an acute angle. Jetstorm and Runway, again, have similar traits, like their tail-fin chests, but otherwise, Jetstorm is the superior minicon in pretty much every way. For starters, Jetstorm is pretty well proportioned, while Runway not only has an elongated torso, but his upper arms are borderline non-existent, as they are merely molded onto the wings, with the lower arms stemming from those hinges. Second, the front third of Jetstorm folds up on his back, cleaning things up a bit, whereas Runway has an immobile tail, though I guess it keeps him stable like a tripod in certain poses. And as for articulation, Jetstorm's arms swing in and out at the shoulders, the elbows are hinged, his hips swivel back and forth, and his knees not only swivel to the sides where they connect to the thighs, but are also ball-jointed where they connect to the shins. Runway is much more simplistic. His elbows and knees are hinged, and the hips swivel back and forth. Despite Runway supposedly holding this title, if you were to ask me which of the trio is the de facto leader just by looking at them, I'd easily pick Sonar. With his fairly buff torso, shoulder wings, and bulky shins, his design emanates this sense of power and authority. He just has this presence to him that his teammates just can't match. Also, the amount of articulation is on par with Jetstorm. The shoulders swivel vertically, and the elbows are hinged. His hips and knees can only move out to the sides, though he has ball-jointed ankles to make up for it. From his looks to his semi-decent posability, Sonar is easily the winner of the set, and one of my favourite minicons overall. Jetstorm's pretty good. Runway's the only one I consider subpar. But of course, these guys have one last trick up their sleeve. And here we have the first of the 3 combined minicon weapons, discounting repaints of course. In fiction, this team, in their standard air defense colors, merge into the blue Star Saber, which turns purple when held by Decepticons, and thus becomes the Dark Saber. Toy technology wasn't and still isn't that advanced, hence the air assault repaints. Again, the color scheme isn't all bad. The purple and gold keep this from looking too bland. Unfortunately, being primarily white kinda goes against this being the Dark Saber. I don't just mean literally, as lilac or lavender would at least create the illusion of a glowing evil purple energy blade. As is, the deco is surpassed by, of all things, the Dark Saber roleplay sword. Sonar splits in half to form the guards, while the Jetstorm runway portion makes for a decent looking blade. Though it was probably done this way for safety, I would have preferred Jetstorm being the sword tip, as he has a sharper looking nose. From the front, it's vaguely sword-like. Otherwise, yeah. Unavoidable though this may have been, it doesn't change that from other angles, it's a mess of robot limbs. Still, it's no worse than most of Siege's Micromaster weapon combos. As of now, I own quite a few Armada minicom packs, and while the Air Assault team isn't one of my favourites, I still kinda like this set. 2 of the 3 minicons are successful, especially Sonar, and the Darksaber's a fun bonus, though it's probably the weakest of the 3 weapon combinations. Overall, I give this set a low silver. I definitely recommend this over the air defense team if you're concerned with clear plastic breaking over time. Furthermore, the assault team are nicely color coordinated with a certain Decepticon leader, who we will conclude the Armada marathon with next time.